crazy. Crazy for mine, and I'll go crazy. Crazy, I go crazy. Crazy for mine. Pull up, hop out, flexing with the pressure. Someone hit my line, it's my connection with the Tesla. We gon' move the city back to back like it's on. We gon' move the city back to back, we doing extra. Jenny from the block, where you from though? You know it's on side when you come though. Hit it from the side like a drum roll. Hit it from behind like a Congo. Make it shake and let's go. It's some ways that we know. You got places to go. Waste no time, let's get on. Only way that you know is for me, cause you know that I go. Let's go. Crazy, I go crazy. Crazy for mine, and I'll go crazy. Crazy, I go crazy. Crazy for mine, I'll go crazy. And I'll go crazy. I'll go crazy. Crazy for mine, I'll go crazy. Let's go. Crazy for mine. Let's go, let's go. Hey, hey. Beat that thing down like you started attention, my baby. You had some plans with your man, just tell him to cancel, my baby. Slide to the crib, look like Dracula's mansion, my baby. When you pull up, it's on action, my baby. If these walls tall, they give you my track list. You know you shouldn't ask this. Those girls are just practice. I ain't one for the past tense. I'm just trying to get active. Sex game on savage, yeah. Crazy, huh? Crazy, huh? You don't know it's crazy, huh? Crazy, 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 huh? Crazy, huh? Crazy, huh? Crazy, huh? You know it's crazy, yeah. Crazy, huh? Let's go. Crazy, huh? Crazy, huh?
Late night, sex, no late, text. What's the odds against that? Is that a safe bet? Casino, life, Al Pacino, nights, feeling gangster, like in the crazy paradise, paradise. When I leave you go. When I come, you stay. That's how it always goes. Fuck the mother, niggas. Fuck the mother, niggas. Just to get back at me. I ain't touched the mother, bitches. Okay, I did. So what? We sin, we forgive. You know what? I ain't God, I just try to act like him. You know how hard it is to grow up. I'm so grown up. I act so tough. I hold back feelings. It's gotta be so rough. You, but you still hold up with a smile on your face, but you're so toned up. You're acting crazy right now, but when the drums come in, I wonder if you lose it. You're acting crazy right now, but when the drums come in, I wonder if you lose it. Just do 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 it. You're acting crazy right now, but when the drums come in, I wonder if you lose it. You're acting crazy right now, but when the drums come in, I wonder if you lose it. Just do 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 it. Crazy right now. crazy right now.
Crazy right now.
Crazy right now.
And we are live, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't even deserve you, baby. I be out way too late, but I don't got no curfew, baby. No, I say, hey, just be patient. Patience is a virtue, baby. When reservations for that dinner, then I mean to desert you, baby. And that was way before the entree. Got a call from my nigga Andre, who said he think he just sang one Kelly and a Beyonce, and they both won't play. So what am I supposed to say?
We are live on TikTok.
So I'm faded, somewhat vacant in Chicago, but the light is shining brighter than Vegas.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another edition of the SNEEK and GEEK live show. I am your host, Atreus. Some people call me Atreus, others call me Atreus. Either one is fine with me. Over here, we talk about the entertainment industry as it pertains to movies, TV shows, video games, and whatever pop culture event is going on. Let's see. Shout out to Twitch. Shout out to, hold on, let me make sure the Twitch, where is my Twitch chat? Did it disappear? There it is. So shout out to Twitch. Shout out to TikTok over here. Shout out to YouTube, obviously. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in to the show. The more people tune in, the better. Shout out to my boy Reach, who's obviously going to be here in the chat later on. He always is. Shout out to Honey. And shout out to all of the new viewers on the channel. There's a lot of people that stopped by for some of the videos earlier. But all right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the show. Let me get sort of a little housekeeping done. Guys, like the video, make sure you're sharing this out with friends and family, so long as they have the same views as you are, because if not, you might trigger them. So I wouldn't advise that you show this to your liberal grandmother. Also, make sure you're following me on Rumble. Rumble. We got to get Rumble popping because we got to get to 25 followers on Rumble so that we can stream on Rumble. We want to be on all platforms so that we're not held hostage by one. As you know, I darn near got to censor myself because I'm going live on TikTok, and you know how TikTok do. Additionally, make sure you're following me on Twitter and yeah. So before we get into the show, though, I kind of want to talk my trash. You get what I'm saying? I want to talk a little bit of trash. Tomorrow is Friday. We'll be doing a celebration because we just hit 5K subs on YouTube. So congratulations for that. I'm gonna find something unique to do on the show tomorrow so that we can celebrate that. But I kind of want to take a little bit more of a serious tone when it comes to the 5K subs today. So I started, as y'all know, TikTok may not know, I started my YouTube journey August 2022. And I would say that I've experienced a significant level of growth that I didn't think was necessarily possible when I first started. I called myself trying to be very reasonable in what my expectations was. I never thought that by May of 2023 that I would be at 5K subs. Now, does that mean that I'll be at 10K subs by the end of the year? Don't know. And quite frankly, while it's very exciting to be at 5K subs, there still are challenges, right? The biggest challenge over here on this platform is getting that to translate to views. As I've discussed with y'all before, we've experienced a lot of growth when it comes to shorts. Our shorts have been beasts for the channel, but that hasn't necessarily, translated to them viewing the long form content. So the challenge over the next, what is it? It's May. So the challenge over the next 7 months is how do we get the shorts viewers to tune in to the live show, to tune in to the long form content. That's going to be the challenge. But when I started my YouTube journey, I didn't expect this kind of growth. But what I've come to understand since, collaborating with Hypnotic and other people like Cult Classic Cage, to having my shorts being played on the Poor Man's the Poor Man's podcast, to going viral on TikTok multiple times, having millions of views in February on YouTube. What I've come to understand is that I'm the talent. And the reason why this is significant is because I'm 30 years old now. Y'all don't understand how long I put this off, trying to be inclusive to the people in my life. Friends, certain family members. You get what I'm saying? I was part of that early wave of people to try to start a podcast well before it was just a trend, right? We was trying to start a podcast back in 2016. That's 7 years ago. And as a matter of fact, I actually did it. I had a camera. I had a DSLR camera. It was a Nikon D3100, I believe, or 3200. And we ain't even had no audio equipment. I was so green that we was recording a podcast and didn't even realize, it didn't even come to my mind that we was recording with the mic on the camera. You never do that. But that's how green I was. I went to school for digital filmmaking, by the way. When I came out of college, I wanted to do independent filmmaking, and my best friend at the time wanted to be a part of it. But the problem was he wasn't trustworthy, because all he wanted to do is chase girls. And so ultimately what happened with that podcast, we recorded one episode. It was terrible. You know what I'm saying? The visuals was terrible. The audio was terrible. And then, you know, me and my best friend, we was living together, and we had to rely on him because at the time we only 23 years old, but he had a car, I didn't. And so we was kind of driving to a friend's house to record this podcast. And long story short, his girlfriend was running his life. And I kind of just called it quits on that. And so since then, I haven't really tried to start a podcast like that, because I've always tried to do it with other people. I tried to start an Instagram show. I tried to start a Facebook show. And I kind of like always tried to include other people in it. And they will always be full of BS. And so I just never got it off the ground until finally last year I just said, you know, let me just do this myself. And boom, what do you know? Not only is this YouTube thing possible, or this social media thing possible, I'm built for it. I'm built for it. And by the way, me and my ex-best friend are no longer cool. After we became no longer cool, I saw on Twitter that they tried to start the podcast without me. They even gave it the name that we came up with together when we were starting it. But guess what though? You fools ain't get no views, no relevance, no sort of growth whatsoever. Why? Because I'm the talent. You can't do the podcast without me. People not coming to see you. You don't say anything profound. You're not giving any, like, what? And so ultimately, do you see their podcast around? You never heard of it. You probably never will, because ultimately your podcast was garbage. And here I am doing my show by myself, growing. And you know, I'll say like the one guy told me some months ago when I reached 1,000 subs, he said 1,000 people know who you are and not me. Just enjoy that. So yeah, I just had to get that off my chest, because a lot of y'all folks be hating on the low. I'm talking about people in your personal life. I ain't talking about on YouTube. YouTube, I get negative comments, and you know what I do with negative comments on YouTube, I kind of like let it marinate for 24 hours before I respond, because I don't want to give any emotional responses unless somebody says something absolutely stupid. All right, anyway, let's go ahead and get into the show, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Honey, who's in the chat. She says, this resonates with me, sir. Right. Ain't no one coming to see you, Otis. Exactly. Shout out to the TikTok chat. Shout out to the Twitch chat. And shout out to everybody in the YouTube chat. Let's go ahead and get into our news. Now, this one I kind of like just threw in there last minute because I woke up and this was going on, and this falls right in line with some of the things that I've been talking about on the channel, and it's hard. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. The NFL is now in the news, ladies and gentlemen. The NFL is now in the news facing investigation over hostile workplace allegations. Let's go ahead and dive into this. Because the NFL is a big conglomerate, and the NFL will be subject to an investigation over its workplace practices and cultures. Attorneys general from New York and California announced today. Two of the most liberal states. I want y'all to notice that. TikTok, make sure y'all notice that. Twitch, YouTube, make sure y'all notice that. New York and California. Pay attention to that, because New York and California are two of the most liberal states in America right now. Period. They have some of the most egregious laws when it comes to tenants and realtors and just everything in general. The LGBTQ laws, the just everything in general. They have egregious laws. All right. New York Attorney General Letitia James. Oh, and it's led by a woman. And California Attorney General Rob Bonta announced a joint investigation into the league over allegations of employment discrimination and a hostile work environment, according to a news release. The investigation will look to see whether the NFL violated federal and state pay equity laws and anti-discrimination laws. No person should ever have to endure harassment, discrimination, or abuse in the workplace, no matter how powerful or influential. No institution is above the law, and we will ensure the NFL is held accountable. Notice how she's talking as if they've already been they've already found how do you say evidence of this, right? Come on now. Come on now. What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, sorry, YouTube. Forgot to do this. Uh-oh. Hold on, let me fix this really quick. Reconnect. Okay. Guess we're gonna have to delete that. What are we doing? Okay. It's not how we wanted to start this stream off. Struggle streaming already. Word to the lead attorney. Okay, sorry about that. All right. These allegations are entirely inconsistent with the NFL's values and practices. The NFL offices are places where employees of all genders, races, and backgrounds thrive. We do not tolerate discrimination in any form. That is the statement the NFL gave. The NFL is committed to ensuring all employees of the league are respected, treated fairly, and have equitable pay and access to developmental opportunities. Our policies are intended not only to comply with all applicable laws, but to foster a workplace free from harassment, intimidation, and discrimination. The investigation announced comes more than a year after James and other attorneys general addressed a letter to the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell to address the grave concerns of allegations made public in a New York Times report. Now, if I'm not mistaken, according to the Times in February 2022, more than 30 former employees described a toxic workplace culture. Female staff members told the newspaper they were forced to watch the 2014 video of former Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice striking his then girlfriend in a hotel elevator, and were asked whether they have experienced or know someone who has experienced domestic violence. Jennifer Love, a former director of NFL Enterprises LLC, sued the league last month for age and gender discrimination, alleged pervasive sexism in the workplace, and a boys club mentality. The former official filed the suit in Los Angeles. So, okay. So here's the thing. Here we go again. Fucked up. Disconnect. All right, there we go. All right, so here we go. I've been talking about something like this since my channel started. All right. This is going to be a very controversial subject because I'm going to say the thing that everyone is afraid to say, but I know that we're all thinking it. We are all thinking it. There is a problem in America that nobody wants to address right now, and it pertains to the workplace environment in all of corporate America, in entertainment, in every industry. While everybody's trying to fill out their ESG documents and check boxes, we want to hire minorities, we want to hire women. It introduces a new problem. And the problem is women in the workplace are chaotic. I'm sorry. It's just the facts. It's just the facts. Women in the workplace are very chaotic in nature because they are chemically and emotionally different from day to day. And I'm sorry, like there's a certain value that women come with that men don't come with, and vice versa. In this, they talked about Jennifer Love sued the league last month for age and gender discrimination and alleged pervasive sexism. What, age discrimination? That sounds like they're talking about that ageism nonsense. That, and if you don't know what I'm talking about with the ageism, there was a model. I forgot her name because she was a former model. Ageism model. What was her name? Paulina Poroskova. This woman right here. This woman calls herself, right, coming out and being an activist fighting against ageism. Her primary complaint is that she's like 60 years old, used to be a model, and when she goes into clubs and bars and stuff like that, young men don't want to date her. And in her mind, this isn't a preference, this is discrimination. And so she calls herself trying to be an activist and changing the narrative about ageism. Ageism? How about I just don't want to be with somebody's grandma? I don't want to lay with you, granny. You look good for your age, I will admit. But that don't mean that I want to lay with you or be with you. Why would I do that? And there's no amount of marching you can do to change what I find attractive. And so when you think about narratives like this, it seeps into the minds of women in the workplace. So if I'm running ESPN or I'm running the NFL network, I'm sorry, but the thing that sells is putting the youngest, most attractive women in front of the TV, not old women. I'm sorry. It's a male-dominated domain. Then they talk about a boys' club mentality. I'm just gonna give it to you straight. Men don't care to be around women like that when it comes to just day-to-day operations. We don't. We love flirting. We love having a romantic relationship with you because women are just so. But when it comes to hanging out, we're not the same. We're not interested in the same things. I get it. Y'all are on there to talk about football the same way the men are. But I would really wonder how much of y'all really love football like that versus how much of y'all are just really there to be there. That's what I'm really wondering. Like how many people really think Molly Querim is really on ESPN because she loved the hell out of sports? I don't know. This is just speculation on my part. Some of y'all are just reporters who report on sports. And then some of y'all are just in there in the corporate office because that's where your job took you. But let's see. In the press release, James and Bonta pointed to another lawsuit relating to an alleged race discrimination and sexual harassment of a female wardrobe stylist. This is another thing. When you put men and women in a space long enough, there's going to be, no matter what you do, there's going to be interaction. I'm sorry. You can say whatever you want. Ime Udoka is a prime example of that. It don't matter what rules you put in place. There's always going to be some sort of, because women are attracted to men in higher places, people. They just are. And so that's the danger you present when you hire women in places like where there's like very powerful men. Women will stop at nothing to get what they want. And if they want is a very strong and masculine man, and she's in a workplace surrounded by very masculine, we're talking about former players, men who are very in shape, that are very powerful. They're interested in that. And the problem is, we live in a society that is matriarchal now. The way of the woman is the right way to think. They are in control. And so a woman could come in one day really interested in being with you and flirting with you and giving you all the choosing signals. But then she could come in the next day and be like, I'm annoyed by your presence. That's just the facts. And so we really have to ask ourselves, as business owners, as politicians, as citizens, what are the ramifications of bringing so many women into our workplace? Well, we're putting our male workers at risk because it's already proven we can't stop interaction between man and woman. We can't do it. So I guess we're just going to be firing people every other month just because Susie decided, you know what, I don't feel like being flirtatious today. Or worse, Susie's been flirting this entire time, or Carisha's been flirting this entire time, but she didn't get the promotion that she wants, so now she's screaming harassment. And then let's talk about this other thing. Pay equity and stuff like that. I'm just keeping it 1,000 with you. You're not bringing the same value. You're not. I mean, y'all gotta understand, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all gotta understand. Every business keeps metrics on everybody. They keep it on everybody. And so when you look at a segment where there's primarily women there, and a segment where there's primarily men there, and if I'm on ESPN and I'm looking at the Stephen A segment and that's getting me millions of views, but then I look at the segment with Malika Andrews in it and that's only getting me thousands of views, ain't no way I can justify paying Malika the same amount of money. It just ain't happening. Also, in the workplace, in corporate, if the men are simply outworking the women, what do you want me to do? You take vacations every other month. They don't. You went on paternity leave for 9 months last year. He didn't. That's not your fault, but it's just a fact. He worked more. He contributes more. So this whole idea of you're being discriminated against because you're a woman is asinine. Now, as far as the Brian Flores discrimination lawsuit, listen. You can't claim to me that the NFL is racist and you continue to work for it. I'm sorry. I can't even take that seriously. So we're gonna move on. You out here screaming discrimination because somebody got a job before you got interviewed. And the thing is, whatever. I'm not denying that there's racism in the NFL, but I keep telling y'all, racism is going nowhere. There will continue to be racism. And you either persevere and get through it, find ways around it, or you shut up and sit down. I'm not finna live my life every day of the week through my skin color. I'm not gonna do it. Anyway, we're moving on. We're moving on. So the NFL, I believe nothing is gonna come of this. Nothing. All right. What we got next? Make sure y'all hitting the like button so we can continue to grow the channel. We are at, if I'm not mistaken, 9 likes on. We get one more like, we can get to 10, y'all. Let's try to get it to 10. Hit the like button. Where's Reed at, man? Reed, where you at? Okay. Let's see what we got. It wasn't a whole lot of heavy news today, ladies and gentlemen. Wasn't a whole lot. Okay, let's get into so we got to talk Phil Spencer, right? Now we talked about Phil. We talked about the Redfall debacle, and we talked about yesterday the possibility that Hellblade 2 could have its release date moved up. Now, we don't know what the original release date was. Everyone assumed that it was probably going to be 2024. However, if you listen to Phil talk in this particular interview, it's kind of interesting. If you read in it too much, you know, it seems like he confirms that it's dropping this year. But he also talks about the struggles that Xbox is facing. And so let's hear what Phil had to say in this interview
around setting expectation. And I will even say, yes, I'm rooting for the home team here, but I'll say over delivering on expectations of that show versus what it was. I think the drop of Hi-Fi to say, hey, if you've got Game Pass, you don't even have to buy the game. Like, just go click. People loved Hi-Fi. Something we don't talk a lot about that same month, Age 2 on console shipped. Truth be told, more people are playing a bunch of people are playing Hi-Fi and Age 2, but Age 2 actually has more players right now.
I'm slow. Hold on. I'm slow. It's hard to manage all of these
now, but all the fanfare goes to the highly rated kind of new Hi-Fi. Get that. I know the review scores on Minecraft Legends. Minecraft, I think, always reviews somewhere kind of different than the top. But if I look at the reaction, I think we've already had over 3 million people playing. I saw, like, its launch week, it was the #1 retail game on the Switch in Japan, which isn't always where Microsoft sits in terms of sales. So I feel like momentum is building, and then something like Redfall happens, and the Xbox community should demand a lot from us as a team. Where we sit inside of Microsoft, we've got the resources to do better. 2022 was.
I thought he did a great job, really taking accountability right there. I think he understands, you know, the pressure that is on them to deliver, and that's good. But it still doesn't translate to results.
As you said, a very light year, I think is what you said. I might have other words for it. And then 2023, we started well, and this was a knockback. But it's our job to go and deliver on the next games. I can only look forward, right? I can sit here and wallow in my own frustration. But all I can do is say, I'm going to do better tomorrow than I did yesterday, and continue to support the teams and continue to grow. But yeah, I think it is ours to prove that. I can say now, and everybody can already stop. I don't want to hear what Phil has to say about the future, and I kind of fully respect that point of view. That we've got Starfield coming, we've got Forza coming, we've got Hellblade coming. Like, we've got collections of the games. I'm seeing very good builds of Avowed and stuff. Like, I can see it. But until you have a controller in your hand and you're smiling from playing our games, none of my words should matter. Around set.
And that's facts. That's absolute facts. But you heard what he said there. He said, you know, we've got Forza coming, Starfield coming, Hellblade 2, collections of games coming, and good builds of Avowed. To me, that sounded, because we know Forza's coming this year, we know Starfield is coming this year, and he included Hellblade into that. And so it sounds to me like they've moved the release date up, or maybe they always plan for it to drop this year. So, but yeah, the thing I like about Phil is he's more than willing to come out here and face the music, face the scrutiny, and do what you got to do. But like he said, until we start seeing better results, nothing he says really matters. This guy says, look, I'm a Sony guy, so I don't care really, but Xbox should not worry about big AAA exclusive. Make games like Vampire Survivors or High on Life that you can get out quickly and fun to play. It's Game Pass. Make good bite-sized titles that can be played. I absolutely disagree with that. Microsoft is a multi-trillion-dollar company. They have the resources to work on all of it. So no. Ain't nobody paying $15 a month for Game Pass or $20 a month for Game Pass to play High on Life. I think what Xbox needs to do is they need to focus primarily on the AAA exclusives and stop hyping up all of this small stuff. I think they need to take a Sony approach. Let's stop with the multiplayer stuff. Let's let our third-party companies focus on this multiplayer stuff, and let us focus on bringing single player or maybe co-op stuff that can, well, we ain't got to worry about this open world. I mean, maybe you do an open world single player or something like that, but where you don't have to bring a whole lot, but you're trying to bring an open world with multiplayer and looter and versus, and it's just too much. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna move on. We going to move on. All right. How we doing? How's TikTok doing? How's if you're in the TikTok chat, comment and let me know what state you're watching from. Same thing with YouTube and Twitch. All right, what we got next? What we got next? Let's go to our bookmarks. Let's go with the Flash. Let's go with the Flash. Okay. This comes over from Bounding in the Comics. I'm gonna be honest with y'all before we get into the article. I still look at Bounding into Comics articles, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm falling out of love with Bounding. Bounding is starting to become one of those. It's starting to be clear that they're one of those heavy right wing places where, I mean, they're literally responding to people and telling them to repent for their sins, and I'm just like, yeesh, really? I mean, I guess, oh my gosh, I guess, you know, I don't know what to say about it. Cult Classic Cage warned us about that, and come on. And she was right. All right, so anyway, the Flash production designer believes Erza Miller controversies will have no effect on film's performance. People will forget that. In a particularly stunning display of Hollywood's self-important arrogance, the Flash production designer Paul Osterberry has dismissed the idea that star Erza Miller's laundry list of legal troubles will have any effect on the film's box office performance. As in his opinion, audiences will be quick to forget the actor has done anything wrong the moment they appear on screen. Osterberry, who has also served as the production designer on such films as The Shape of Water and It Chapter 2, offered his opinion on the Miller situation during a recent interview given to Canada's CBC News. Following a brief reflection on his approach to bringing Bruce Wayne's Batcave and Batwing back from the annals of cinema history for Keaton's return on the role, Osterberry noted that he once built full-size cardboard replicas of the Dark Knight's vehicles and lab. Is kind of, okay, that's unimportant. Unimportant. So yeah, apparently they believe that you guys aren't going to care. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to say I agree with him per se, but I'm wondering, do y'all remember? Because I've said from the jump, I will be giving this movie no money. I didn't say I wasn't going to watch it. But it won't be getting my money. Not through a streaming service, not through it won't be getting my money. Because how can Erza Miller get away with what he's gotten away with and still be able to star in this movie, but somebody like what's Kang's name? I done forgot his name. Oh boy. I've been saying this man's name so much over the past month and I can't remember his name. Kang. How can he? We don't even know if he actually committed a crime, but he gets everything stripped away from him immediately. But Erza Miller doesn't. Why? Because he identifies as non-binary. He's LGBTQ. And so he gets to get away with it. So what I'm challenging y'all to remember this. I'm challenging y'all to think about this. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to sit here and tell you don't go to the theater and see The Flash. I understand The Flash is a fan favorite. This, that, and the third. Me, I'm not as emotionally attached to The Flash as some people are. But I'm challenging you to stand on your principles and not let the weirdos in this industry get away with it. He put his hands on a woman. He actually groomed people. He actually pleaded guilty for a lot of the crimes he committed. Are you going to support? That's my challenge. I get it. Granted, my voice ain't gonna carry long because my channel isn't that big, but I'm asking. Maybe there's a big content creator that may see this. Hell, I'll clip this and put it on Twitter. I'm challenging you to contradict what he's saying and remember that Erza Miller is a criminal who is getting away with it because he is a member of the LGBTQ community. And that's all I'm going to say about that. We'll move on. We'll move on. We will move on. All right. Make sure y'all hitting the like button. So for those of you who are watching and you're thinking to yourself, this is my version of an ad, y'all, at this point. And you're thinking to yourself, man, I really like this channel. I want to be able to contribute to the channel. But I'm not really into giving out money. I understand that. I absolutely understand that. Let me tell you how the best way you can contribute to the channel, which in my opinion is better than actually sending money to the channel. The best way to contribute to the channel is this. You're gonna make sure you're gonna make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and you're gonna make sure that the notification bell is turned to all. You want to turn it on and turn it to all. And every time a video drops, you're going to play the video, you're going to drop a like on it, and even if you're not interested in watching the video in full, you're going to turn that thing on, you're going to put the play by speed on ×2, and you're going to watch it all the way through. Or just let it play all the way through. Because what you'll be doing is you'll be driving up the watch time and driving up the engagement. That's what pushed the videos out into the algorithm. I know a lot of people that always ask me, man, how haven't you blown up yet, man? Well, you know, we got to get the watch time up and the engagement up. So if we continue to do that, we will continue to grow. I promise you. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. We're gonna go through. We're gonna rapid fire through a couple of topics, couple of small things. This comes from Bounding in the Comics again. The Lord of the Rings online character creator adds facial hair option for women who want to make as many players feel represented in the game as possible. You can't make this shit up. I genuinely want to know how many women you think are actually, how many women with beards do you think are actually playing a Lord of the Rings online game? I mean, this doesn't hurt anybody. I just think it's funny. But it lends credence to what I've been talking about as far as the video game industry is full of liberals. Ain't no man thinking about this. Ain't no man thinking about this. Ain't no man point. There's no point in point. When has it ever been like a issue with you putting a beard on a woman in a video game? Never been an issue, right? I guess. Our latest update celebrates individually with additional character customization options for the race of men, humans that let players express themselves in new ways. Developer Stone Games boasts we want to make as many players feel represented in the game as possible. We are introducing a new character creation option for your race, hair, and body. I mean, I suppose, man. We live in a clown world. Absolute clown world. I'm not saying it shouldn't be an option. I'm not saying there shouldn't be an option, but is there really a point in advertising this, right? Like, hello, ladies, you can now wear a beard. I'm pretty sure most women don't want to wear beards. Now, if you want to say we're advertising to, you know, the LGBT, then just put a trans individual in the game. No problem with that. I don't know why you would want to be trans and still wear a beard, but that's beyond me. Matter of fact, I live in Atlanta, so I don't even know why I'm saying that. Shout out to my mother who's in the chat. That was odd. Wasn't expecting that. Shout out to you. Love you. But yeah. So there's that. Additionally, we got Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm hearing conflicting information on God. On one end, people are saying it looks like it's going to do pretty well at the box office. Others are saying it's looking like it's about to flop. Okay, fair enough. But now there's an insider saying that if Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't do well, it might be the beginning of the end for the MCU. This alleged insider spoke to Scooper WDW Pro, who shared his information in a recent video. He says, first, WDW Pro relayed that he obtained information that Marvel Studios is expecting the film to do even worse than the predictions from the Box Office Pro and Variety. Apparently, allegedly, even though I cannot verify it, that in fact internal numbers are beginning to look worse than what we are seeing on Variety, and of course Box Office Pro as well. What is up with Bounding in the Comics site, man? This is the only website that continuously crashes. Like, this page isn't responding. Y'all need to fix that. In fact, Marvel is saying that their number is looking more like 108 million for the weekend. That's right, domestic box office, and that would bring it below this low mark, 110 million. Not only that, but because they may be worried that 108 million is actually where this thing is headed. Well, that's getting awful close to Ant-Man Quantumania territory, and that's somewhere none of them ever believed this movie would go. He went on to say not only that, but they are now hoping, praying, wishing on a star that there will be a tremendous walk-up traffic, that there will be tons of people who choose to go see this movie at the last minute, that in fact the pre-sales are not indicative of where this thing is going. As the source told me, if the film fails to even reach the 108 million, which seems unlikely, surely it can hit the 110 plus. Even if it doesn't hit 120 million, I'll be shocked. But according to the source inside Marvel, they are referring to this as an e-stop moment, which is a reference to the Disney attractions when they have a need to completely stop the attraction so that no one is hurt or harmed, or there's a significant malfunction. That's called an e-stop, where the ride completely comes to an end. Yikes. Hold on, they continue. And apparently that is what is being bandied about now, because here's what the source is saying. The tremendous fear inside Marvel at this moment with all of the higher ups is that whereas they could once count on huge numbers of Marvel fans coming to support the movie on the opening weekend, Quantumania showed that the bottom may have fallen out. And if Guardians of the Galaxy 3 follows that same trend and fails to hit 110 million mark, if it comes close to Quantumania, then the bottom is gone permanently. If Guardians of the Galaxy 3 can't pull in audiences, then nothing can. This is connected with the original characters of the MCU. There was an exception that although they had lost James Gunn, they had not lost the audience in terms of anticipation for this film. Wow. They continue. Apparently in this film, there are depictions of graphic situations and little critters not having a good time, and not having a good time in a real way. We're talking about Rocket Raccoon and his little pals. If this is what's happening and kids don't want to go see this movie because they don't want to go watch Rocket and his little pals be harmed, then you can see a huge drop off. We're talking 60 to 70, 75%. And if you couple that with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 coming in at 110 or below, but if it comes to an end, those kinds of numbers, and then it has to drop off, holy smokes, folks, this could be down in disaster territory. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible at this point that the MCU could be coming to an end. It is what it is at this point. I personally can't see them doing less than 110 million, but I could be wrong. I think if the movie's good, then word of mouth is going to carry it. I like Chris Pratt, so I'll be going to see it. But when it comes to yikes, this could be over in a quick hurry, ladies and gentlemen. In a quick hurry. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it'd be sad to see it go. But at this point, if you're going to keep desecrating and bastardizing the source material, then we don't need it. She-Hulk was an abomination. Stop hiring wokesters to do this mess. And now you're talking about Fantastic Four. You want a female thing? Like, you're purposely driving it into the ground. And you know what would be terrible? It would be terrible to see Marvel fall apart before Kathleen Kennedy gets fired over at Star Wars. And that's that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of the stream. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Honey, shouts out to you. I appreciate everybody over at TikTok, Twitch. We're going to go ahead and wind the stream down. Deja should be here tomorrow, so we'll record more with Deja. And yeah, I mean, that's all we got for right now. I should be on Saturday Night Hypnosis this Saturday. And that's it. All right. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Deuces.